Rob G, report out that Dawn Staley was interviewed by the New York Knickerbockers.
Yeah, it actually happened over the weekend, guys. There was a report that came out from Knicks Fan TV. Never heard of him. But they had reported over the weekend that Dawn Staley had met with the Knicks brass about their vacant head coaching position. Now, that story was not picked up really anywhere because, honestly, who's Knicks Fan TV? We have no idea who they are, how reputable they are, what have you. Well, on Tuesday morning, The Athletic confirmed that, yes, Dawn Staley did meet with the Knicks front office, and while they were very impressed with her presentation and their conversation, they decided not to move forward with her in the head coaching search. And right now, all signs point to the team bringing in Mike Brown, former Cavs, former Lakers, former Kings head coach, to be the next head man in Gotham.
Can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have Charlie Brown at this point. I mean, Mike Brown, really? I'm sorry. He's been everywhere, and, the teams are all pretty good, but really? Mike Brown?
Mike Woodson?
I just don't.
He's the anti-Tibbs. That's basically what you're hiring.
But I don't get that. I'm serious. If Mike Brown came with something, a championship, then I'm all in. Really? The guy got fired at 5 games from the Lakers? That guy, Mike Brown, that's the guy they bring it to New York? Come on. If you're going to make that move, it's got to be somebody who's got a chip in their back pocket.
You
I'm
were
dead
screaming
serious.
Mike Malone, and I didn't think he was a guy, but I got your premise. He's got a ring.
Right.
I got what you're saying.
You can't say he's Tibbs. I hear, well, he's Tibbs. No, he's not. Guess why? Tibbs don't have a ring. That's why he don't have a job.
Yeah. And this is
Stop it.
This is why, again, I go back to Donald Sterling, Jim Dolan. Oh man, we got to quit going for shiny things and quit when we got something. We got to ride it out. We can't just keep making these moves, and then they make the moves like, okay, now, retreading. All right, but anyway, that wasn't the point of this story.
That
keep
is
going.
not. Anyway, Dawn Staley. Tremendous college basketball coach and all that. I don't even, coaching is coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Men have coached women forever, and this whole idea, and so I'm not any questions about whether or not she could coach. I just the game is the game.
Yeah.
So I think she can coach. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think the NBA is ready for it because it was all set up. Becky Hammond was supposed to be the first female coach. She got anointed by Pop. Everybody, Pop, all love Pop, right? And his all the success that he had. She was an assistant coach sitting there, right? And she got a few interviews. It never panned out. Where is she now? Is she in the
she's a WNBA coach.
So she's a WNBA. And that's what she wound up and in Vegas.
Yep, the Aces, yeah.
And I just think that people aren't ready for that. Just like people aren't ready for a female president of the United States. I really believe that because we saw it happen twice. But I just don't believe that, it was nice and out of respect to her and to have a conversation, get her feel for the game and what is she seeing. Like a lot of these interviews are fact-finding too.
Right.
What would you do? What are we doing wrong?
Be honest with us.
And you're taking all these notes too.
You're like,
wait a minute. Okay, that's a good point.
She ain't lying.
Exactly.
We do need it,
you know what? Yeah, we should do that.
Why didn't we run a zone in the fourth
Why
quarter?
is Cat at the end of the quarters? Yeah, he shouldn't be in there.
Jalen Brunson don't have to pound the ball out the air out the ball.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I get why they bring in people because they want to hear these basketball minds and see what they're seeing. So it's good for her too. Like, oh wow, the Knicks interviewed you, and you go back to college, and they're like, wow, okay, wow, you get NBA feelers. That could only help you if you're Dawn Staley.
You just led me to a point I was going to make. I think it will happen eventually. I was talking to Rob G earlier, and I said I think we'll see it in the next 3 to 4 years.
Oh wow.
I think we'll see it then. I just think that's just the way society is going. I think that's the way the NBA is getting really unique, very progressive ownerships, and I think some of them will say, I want to be the one to have done this first.
But the Spurs were the perfect spot.
Listen, I have no argument with that. Becky Hammond, it was almost more of a shock she didn't get it. We were wait, that kind of sat there. Pop is always progressive, and him being a basketball mom.
I'm going to be honest. It said something about her because she had interviews, and it didn't happen. I'm just saying because she laid the groundwork. She had everything set up for this to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the ultimate endorsement by Pop on the bench. People respected her. She did put on her dues. It wasn't like they rushed her to the front of the line. All that.
She's the person that if it happens, no one's mad. We go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of sitting right there.
But that it didn't happen for her is what makes me question who else has done all those steps. You know what I mean? And gotten the endorsement. That's what I'm shocked by.
So I'm looking at this, too. So going back to Dawn Staley, I think the reason why this is significant is because I think Dawn Staley, if you kind of kept track of what she said, because, she gets asked this question, would you go to the NBA? Would you go to – and she's always said she's maintained she believes her kind of plight – or not plight, but her journey in life is to continue to promote the game for the WNBA, continue to promote South Carolina, continue to promote for the women. She said, I know it'd be cool and I get it, but I just feel like I'm led to just do that. And the reason why I think an interview like this matters, because even if the Knicks say, I know you're not really interested, because that was the other part, right, Rob G, they weren't serious. It was just kind of have this meeting with her. I think they knew that she's not fully interested. She knew that they're not fully interested per se. And I think this is big so that it becomes more normalized so that it's, oh, yeah, we're interviewing Becky Hammond. Oh, yeah, we're interviewing Dawn Staley. Oh, and it's not like, what, really? And I think she takes it as a step for it to become that so that when the next team thinks of people, they can think of someone else like her.
Maybe she wanted a free meal. You never know.
New York is a great place. Some good steakhouses, some good food in New York.
When they go and you know what I mean? They'll take you out to
you take the meeting. You know this in the business. Listen.
Except for Chris and I used to have big arguments about this.
Oh, what's this?
And if there's no job, I'm not going to an interview. I'm talking about an interview where there's no job. Like they're just kind of doing a dog and pony show. Like I don't believe in that. If
Chris said you still go?
Yeah, and I just don't. If there's a job, I'm interested in going. But like to just be like the NFL does.
Yeah,
like what? Like
you
know that
brothers,
we ain't right,
but we gonna brother
because we have to. We need to just bring you
Check
in.
this box.
You remember
real
when
quick.
Matt Millen was going to hire Steve Mariucci as a Super Bowl? Everybody knew it, and they couldn't get one brother to come to Detroit to do the Rooney Rule
because they knew
interview
what it was.
because they knew what it was. It was a sham, and so people don't do me like that. If the job's open, I'm interested in going. You don't have to force to hire me. But don't have me come in, act like the job's open, and you've already picked your guy.
But what if it's past October 6th, and it's the world's best cheesecake place, and they got some lobster
I'm not
and everything?
going. No.
Still not going?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not.
And she's there.
I'm not going.
Okay. Montreal is there.
Well, that's different. I might have to at least get some whipped cream for dinner.
No, but to get back to the conversation, I just think this was big for Dawn Staley, big for other women, big for the Knicks in that these conversations are happening and it's semi-normalizing it to where, she's having an interview and it's kind of just becomes normal. Like, all right, they're considering, another female candidate. Okay, it's up there because you mentioned it earlier. I remember when these conversations started happening, especially when we started to see a lot of female assistants in the NFL. And I believe the NFL will do this way before the NFL because I think there's an inherent – You didn't play.
You think who will do it?
The NBA before the NFL have a female coach because I think the NBA, the game is the game is the game.
I can't see the
NFL.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can't
because
I can't see
you
that
spent time and we love her. She's a friend of the show. Personal friend for you, Nancy Lieberman. So if she ended up being a coach, she's coaching the Big Three. And it's like whatever. Who you don't even think. If I told you Cheryl Miller, if I was coming into some college and she was my coach, if Pat Summitt was you didn't think, all right, cool. And it's, there's a handful of people that just, it automatically makes sense. And the game is different. Your game is the game. You play the game. It's the same. With the NFL, I just don't see that happening because I think there's an inherent, you didn't play, you don't know what it feels like. There's a physicality. And I just think I don't think it's going to happen for at least 100 years in the NFL. Whereas the NBA, I think in a handful of years, we're going to see this happen with these.
I just think there's a better chance.
Yeah,
definitely.
I just think you'd be sitting at Fridays, Chili's, wherever, like, oh, Becky Hammond is, okay, wow, okay. And go back to eating.
It looked like it was going to happen.
Right.
You wouldn't really
whereas if all of a sudden I told you then such and such is the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, you'd be like, whoa, what? It'd be a big deal.
Oh, you kidding?
NBA, I think you'd almost go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Dawn Staley, oh, that's kind of dope. You know what? I like that.
I think the minor baseball's a few in the minor leagues. I think there's at least one female manager.
So rank them. Is it NBA first? We both agree on that.
No, NBA with basketball.
We agree on that.
I just think because the game is so much the
similar.
same. Right, and you have people on that level coaching major college basketball.
Yep. And the Browns interviewed Condoleezza Rice.
That was for the team president, right?
Yeah. So there's some moves happening. Obviously, she's with the college football playoffs and the whole seeding there. I think it would go NBA, MLB, NFL. And I think the other two
I agree.
take a while. I think MLB and football, hold up.
Yeah,
I agree. They're going to take a long time.
I agree, but I think basketball is the same game. I definitely could see
I think 3 to 4 years, Robs, both of y'all, I think we're going to see it happen in the NBA. A progressive ownership is going to be like.
I'm going to say it's a little longer than that, but I do. Because Becky Hammond was right on the doorstep. And to me, it went backwards.
Dawn Staley's players are going to be like, go do it to prove that you can do it. Go prove it. They're going to do it she's going to do it at some point. Watch. That's what I believe.